Welcome back to the Rugby Oaks with me, Matt.
And I'm George, and we're back with another week of Bok Rugby.
Woo!
Come
Let's
on!
go. The season is in full swing, George. We're gonna have to talk about that match against Italy last week.
Hmm.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we started well. We started well. We ended poorly. So first half was good. Second half and look, it happened against Italy, so I don't want to disrespect Italy. I'm glad it's happened early in the season, game number one,
Yeah.
basically. Let's get over with that and let's now push forward. We don't want to hear about cobwebs and rust because these oaks have been playing rugby all year. They have been, or some have come from injury.
It's the second game under the belt. It was a first string. We talked about it. We thought it was a first string. We thought they would win by about 70 points. And in that first half, it looked like it. It's first half was 28-3. At the end of it, as you mentioned, guys looking good or at least being stable, particularly in the
Mm,
front row, kind of dominating those areas. A little bit too easy, perhaps. Um,
yeah.
but really let us not let us down, but maybe let Rassie down a little bit in his expectation and their own expectations in the second half. The bomb squad diffused.
Yeah, they didn't quite turn up. I mean, the Italians, they had the bomb diffusers. Am I allowed to speak like that? They figured it out, and it's becoming a known. I mean, the world's all. We got France doing the 7-1 split now. People have sussed this up, and now Rassie, obviously, in the Barbars game, experimenting with a hybrid player like Andre Esterhuizen. There's something else will come. However, I just think first game got the juju's out the way now. We're going to come in flaring. I know there's been big changes. We're going to talk about the team in a bit. There's been a number of changes. But the boys need to just figure out in the tough situations, we've got to pull each other up
Hmm.
and fight and push forward because what happened in that game was just a couple little things that slowed the momentum down, like a disallowed try because of an obstruction or whatever. And then your mind, as a professional rugby player, shouldn't go off, but you could just tell something didn't work after those little things that happened.
And you think
So,
it's got anything to do with Khaleesi not being there and captain, a new captain in place? Jesse's been playing well,
mhm.
but we need to build up young talent
Yeah,
in leadership roles. So Jesse's not young in caps, but he's still kind of we talked about last week
yeah.
early 30s, so he's got some time under his belt. But the lack of guys like Peter Steph Toy, lack of guys like Sia, um, was that an issue?
A little bit of an issue, but I don't think it should be the be all and end all. I think the boys, they know what they look, they know what they've done wrong. And what they did wrong was they went to sleep. They went to
Yeah.
sleep. Now you moet wakker word, man. You must wake up. You play the full 80 minutes. You don't come here. You don't go there for a haircut. These
No.
oaks need to now wake up. And I've got high hopes and a lot of confidence in this team that's going out this weekend
Yeah.
in Kaberga. Sorry, the pronunciation was off, but it's it's going to be a humdinger. I think obviously we know what Italy's can do. And they're bringing in a couple other, I think, injury replacements. So let's see if they bring up any other big names. But Gani Vachni, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, look, there's certainly going to be an expectation to lift the game, and
Yeah.
pressure on the team to lift the game from last week. But let's look at the positives. We scored six tries.
Mhm.
I think if you look back in history, and you look down the results and you go 42-24, Italy, cool, move on. You wouldn't notice the blip because the scoreline doesn't look insanely bad, especially with the way Italy are playing at the moment, where they are attacking a little bit more. They scored a couple of garbage time tries as well, where the game was completely out of their control. And take nothing against them, but it was always going to be a Springbok win. And sometimes it just, you put your head down. But tries by Creel, Morne van den Berg getting a brace, the young number nine starting to step up, maybe going to feel more comfortable in the role after a man of the match performance. We also had Arnser with a phenomenal break and try, showing what he does best at the Bulls, securing his place back at the Bulls for next
Yeah.
season as well. And then who else we got? We got Koch and Van Staden in the second half. So there are positives to take out, but certainly want to kick on for the game this week. Now, before we
Mm.
talk about the game this week, we got a little Prezi from
Mm.
an old mate. Our head boy when we were at school at Rondebosch Boys High School has written a book, and actually, it's Tom Dawson Squibb. It's called Human Ball, absolute legend. He's written it with Nick Rossley, also a Ronnebosch alumni, one of my bros mates in his year. Some cool pickies at the back there, but look, it's we know Tom. He's worked with SA Rugby. He's worked with Ike Tigers. He's worked across the kind of sporting spectrum
Proteas.
in South Africa. Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a hell of a read. I haven't started just yet. Going away on holiday in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to take this with me. But wanted to give a shout out and thank you, Tom and Nick, for sending a copy over to us. And anyone who wants to hear a bit about Tom's insight into the game, and obviously forward by John Dobson, so any Stormers fans there, give
Oh
a
no.
go down to Exclusive Books and pick up a copy, I suppose. Other bookshops are available. It might only be online. I don't know. But let's move swiftly on to the next game, George. It's
Oh,
Italy again, as you mentioned. Bercha. Excuse the pronunciation, probably terrible. But we're going to start off with a little ode to Willie. Willie Leroux, 100
oh,
caps. We kind of didn't know if this day would come.
I know.
We suspected it would. I think Rassie kind of wanted to make sure it happened as well to prove a point
Yeah.
to some fans who maybe don't see him as a Springbok legend, but give us a couple of words, wax lyrical about Willie Leroux.
Willie Leroux, the ultimate try-setter-upper, if you were to call it anything. What a legend. And we've said it loads of times. A lot of people don't particularly love Willie, but you can't knock a man down who just sets up try after try after try, gets up every time he gets down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. He is another legend to join. I think he'll be the eighth Centurion
Yeah,
for the box. Well deserved. Like you said, didn't think he'd make it, but what a guy. I'm glad he's got his first cap against Italy. He's going to get his 100th against Italy. It's a full
come
circle
full
moment.
circle.
Unbelievable scenes. The Strand Boyki, Porus Boyki. I'm hell of a happy for him, and it's
What
awesome.
what a journey. And you look at a player that started off, I think Rassie spoke about it this week. Stormers set up, wasn't quite
Mm,
believed, and he was let go. He went through Boerland, and then he went through Griquas and
mm,
Cheetahs. He went to the Sharks. He went over to Wasps when that was still a club. So he's performed throughout the ranks in South Africa domestic level. He's performed in the UK in the Prem. He did really well. He was a star for Wasps back in the day
yeah.
when they had that really good team, that kind of star-laden team, and obviously Japan as well. And then for the box, just as you said, his vision has been
Yeah.
outstanding. He might not score tries all the time. He might not kind of be the glamorous person you see kind of dotting down, celebrating, but every single try, if you rewind a couple of seconds, Willie is somewhere in that mix. And that allows the guys to have that creativity on his outside. He's a number 10 playing at 15, basically.
Yeah.
He's giving that kind of direction, pulling the strings, and it gives us almost like what was it, the Aussie combination back in the day when they had, was it Quade Cooper and I can't remember the scrum cap number 10, and they used to
Uh,
swap between 10 and
Derek
15.
Barnes.
Berg Barnes, yeah.
Is it Derek
But it
Barnes?
gives us that option to attack on both sides of the field with vision. So, um, you know, big clap for Willie. Absolutely love the guy. He's been there, he's done it. He's been consistent and he's been injury free, except for that World Cup final where he still smashed it.
Yeah.
Um, his whole career, and testament to him, 100 caps, happy days.
What a
Um,
legend.
I
What
hope
a
he,
legend.
he enjoys a couple of Brannans after that one. But let's go through the starting lineup, George. Big changes, 16 changes from Rassie. We knew he was going to select a team pre kind of competition or pre match to allow this summer tour for him to just play with
Mm,
combinations. And I love
yeah.
the combination, first of all, in the front row. We've got Thomas Satoy, we've got Malcolm Marx, we've got Vilko Low. Heavy as hell.
That is a big, I know we said it last week. That is even bigger. I think that is a big front row. I'm so happy Thomas Satoy is playing. I speak about him as often as I possibly can. Best prop in the Premiership over here in England. He's got a lot to sort of prove and show people why he is the one should be potentially number one choice. Not particularly, doesn't have to be loose head. He's versatile, he can play tight head as well. So I'm stoked for him. And then Malcolm Marks and Volker they started last weekend.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
Mark's had a solid outing.
Yeah.
Wilco Low had a solid outing. We're building confidence in Wilco Low and Thomas du Toit in a Springbok
Mhm.
jersey, and I can't wait to see it. It's we're so lucky with our front row forwards that this might be the second or third choice combination, but
Mad,
world class, absolutely world class.
mad.
The locks a little bit trickier. Salman Murat and Ron Nokia. Salman Murat captaining. I think it's his fourth time captaining.
Yeah, yeah, and the Stormers captain as well. So, obviously, I was, to be honest, I was expecting Sia to play this week, but obviously, I think he's got a slight strain in the, is it his knee or I can't remember now, calf. Let him rest. Salman, he's captain before, been there, done that. So, him and I don't know if I'm trying to think back if him and Rowan have actually partnered up together. They might have.
I think maybe in or whether it started or not, but in Australia last year, I think because Salman was captain, and I'm pretty sure Ruan. Remember those first
Mm,
couple of tests, Ruan Nokia
yeah,
really like stated a claim for
yeah,
being a Bok, at least squad member. And
yeah,
I'm really excited to see him back. Remember, he was also captain of the Bulls, so that was an
yeah.
option there, I suppose. Or he has captained the Bulls before. Salman, it's Rassie wanting to get another.
Captain.
Youngster captain ready option. I think what we see with someone with in the Stormers and what we've seen so far in his Bok career is solid and hopefully not giving away any yellow cards like he
I
does
was about to say.
in the Prem. Sorry, in the URC, but in the Springbok he's been solid but not exciting. So this
Mm,
is a real opportunity for him to
yeah.
grip the game. It's not an occasion that's bigger than him. He's playing against Italy. With all respect to Italy, we should win this game. Touch wood. So he can go out and express himself and enjoy himself, and just try and like he's touted as youngster, as such a physical player.
Mm,
Injuries have marred that kind of maybe his attitude in hitting rucks and going at it, and maybe discipline has been a problem too. But I love the guy as a leader, and let's see if he can go out there and express
yeah.
himself, and
Yeah,
I wish the
exactly.
best for him.
Exactly. And then Ruan, excuse me, Ruan Nokia, because we're going with a 5-3 bench, he can also cover the back tree, well, he can
He's
cover
mini
one of the
Sos.
flanks.
He's mini
He's
Sos.
mini Zos.
You know,
So's
and that's
2.0.
and we talked about hybrid players and we talked about Thomas Toy being able to change position. We talked about Rune Kier being able to change position. The next person up is Marco van Staden. Well, the World Cup he was at hooker as well, outrageously. Played a couple of scrums there. And threw a couple of lineouts in there. So it's that Rassie just wants that versatility to cover. So you can take more players of independent skill if you've got versatile
Yeah.
players within that. Peter Steph Toy, I think, massively missed last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's massively missed every week. I think he is the best player on the planet. Certainly last year, I think he's the most important player to the Springboks at the moment. When we're going to be playing teams like New Zealand,
Yeah.
going to be great to see him run out. But whether he plays Italy, whether he plays New Zealand in a World Cup final, his
Mm.
attitude is always the same, and he's going to lift the standard within the team. So that's
Yeah.
great. And I thought Jasper Wiss had a good outing.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's been solid last couple of matches I've watched him play, whether it's been international or domestic, and excited that he continues that kind of train of starts back to back, which I think is important because he is our number 1 8.
He is. He is our number 1-8. I think I saw him in an interview the other day. His tooth been put back in, unless it's one of those
Oh
chaps that you can take in and
no.
out. No,
Why?
surely he takes it out just for the games because you can't be running around with a
In the
denture
old
there.
days, you put a cigarette in
Yeah.
there.
Maybe he should
But
do it this weekend.
I don't think athletes do that anymore.
No. Ask Butch James. But he had a very good game. I was glad to see him back. Well, I know we'll talk about the bench. Evan Roos on the bench, to come off for
But it's a
him
nice
maybe.
slingshot. You're gonna
Yeah,
moor them up front, and then you're gonna
yeah,
slingshot in some pace off the bench.
yeah.
Talking about pace, 9-10 axis, probably the most exciting 9-10 axis in South African history, but
Oh,
certainly at the moment, Grant Williams and Manie Lebok. Grant Williams, I think, is our best option at number 9 at the moment. Whether I get slated for that or not, I don't care. I love his speed around the base. I love his
mm,
attitude, and he's certainly doesn't get nervy about wearing a box shirt. He's proved
yeah.
himself on the bigger stages, scoring unbelievable tries at Twickenham down the road from us here. And of course, Manie Lebok. We know the magic Lebok. He creates
Money
things out of
magic, baby.
nothing. He sees the game at a different speed, and goal kicking aside, absolutely fantastic to see him start another test match. Although he did, I think he's got a 100% record in the match against the Barbars on his kicks, saying that he'll now miss all of his kicks this weekend.
Damn you.
But we love him anyway, and in a game like this, absolutely magic to see him back.
Yeah, I'm glad to see them back. Some people might come at you when you say the most exciting pair. They'll say, "What about Sasha there instead of Marnie?" But he's waiting in the wings. He's there on the side.
Sash is waiting in the wings, but I don't know. There's something about
Some,
Marnie Lebok when he's
there's something
on.
about Marnie. You can make
Oh,
a
there's
movie.
something
Something
about
about
Magic
Marnie.
Marnie that I absolutely love. Don't hate me because you ain't me, and I love all my bookers, so it's fine. Um, let's go for the back three quickly before we go through the centers. Makazole Mapimpi, Edwin van der Merwe, and of course Willie on his 100th cap. Edville, so excited to get him back on the
Oh,
pitch.
since
What
that
a
Wales game.
what a pity. You scored a breakaway try in your first test match. Um, you then get injured for the entire season, and he probably would have got three or four, if not five or six caps last
Yeah,
season. He's had an outstanding season for the Lions once again. He's moved to the Sharks for next season, and I'm really, really just chuffed for the guy.
yeah.
Because remember, he's early 30s now. I think he's 31 or 32.
Mm.
So he hasn't been left behind. He's still producing. And
Yeah,
talk about a golden oldie, Makazole Mapimpi. Put him out to pasture when he stops scoring tries. Let's just put it
yeah.
that way.
That's it. Some people. That's a. It's a. I say that we've got It's an oldie back three there. Sort of, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Makazola 34, Vili 34, 35.
Makazole Mapimpi, the Ferrari. You
Yeah,
can't
he's. Hey, you
listen.
shut up. I love it. I love it.
If he stops scoring tries, stop selecting him in the squad. That's
That's
okay.
fair.
Talk about
Fair.
age, whatever you want to do, but if you stop scoring tries, you can stop selecting him. I guarantee
Fair
he'll
step.
score a try on the weekend.
Yeah, you're a Ron
Absolutely.
guy, someone. Yeah.
Um, and what's really interesting to see is in the centers. So we've got Andre Estes at 12, and we've got Kane Moody at 13. Remember, Moody played a bit in the centers
Hmm.
against New Zealand at
Yep.
Twickenham. That one game that was so beautiful. Um, and Andre Estes, and I'm really glad he's just getting a bit of time in the saddle at 12, his favorite position. But there's something a little interesting there, and we'll talk about the bench now. We're going to go backwards through the bench, George, because I just want to
Oh,
bring something up. We talked about hybrid players. It's the thing that's on our lips at the moment. It's a 5-3 split. But is it? Is it a 5-3 split? Because I think, and this is my prediction of what is going to happen this weekend. Okay, so you got Sasha, you've got Ethan Hooker, who are the two flex players, right? Okay.
yeah.
So Sasha's easily going to come in at 10 or 12, and Ethan Hooker's either going to come in on the wing or 13. Okay.
Okay.
If that is the case, I reckon Andre Esterhuizen is going to be put at flank for the second half when that replacement comes in. Okay. I reckon probably Peter Steph if the game's sealed because you want to wrap him up in cotton wool a little bit. Andre played
Yeah.
7, I think, the other day. Put Andre, who's not the first choice center, at 12 or 13, let's be honest. Um, he's going to need minutes behind him throughout the season. He's not going to clock up as many as Damon Dellinder, as many as Jesse Krill. Move him to 7 in a proper test match. Ethan Hooker and Sasha come in the centers if that's what you want to do. You could move them around. But I think Marnie deserves kind of 80 minutes. If he can play 80 minutes quite easily. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
And you'd like to see what Sasha and Ethan maybe can do in the centers.
That's Rassie magic you speaking. Have you been with him in the change rooms there
They
talking? Have
call
you been
me Matthew Rossi Erasmus Matt.
you not wrong. I reckon that could happen. Or throw another one at you, or Ethan Hooker goes to bloody flank. He's 6'4".
He's six foot
He's
four, but
not
he's
gonna
still a
happen.
lighty, dude. Come on,
Yes,
let's
but
not.
he's in
Things
the
aren't
house.
crazy. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. But look, I'm. Let's talk about Ethan Hooker. He's had a
Yeah.
great kind of season, couple of seasons really with the Sharks.
Mm.
Deserves his place. One of the most exciting up and coming players. The size of the man, the energy, the strength, the speed. He's just a buck, right? Out and out buck.
That's it. He deserves it. He's you I know we mentioned him I think last year, and one of the five players Rusty needs to be bringing up, and he's there. He's finally getting this will be his first test cap.
It will be, yeah.
I can't wait to see him because he's been flaring for the Sharks, scoring tries saving tackles as well. He's been a
Yeah.
number of those. He's been hell of a good on defense. So as you've just said, he is a buck, and he's going to show us this
Absolutely.
weekend.
And as long as he doesn't get injured, he will be one. Why did I say that?
Nah.
Replacements again, flexible players. Sorry, we're going to move on to the forward replacements. Jan-Henrik Wessel's actually listed as hooker,
Yep.
rather than prop. So again, it's Rassie just playing with his food, making sure he can get combinations, making sure people aren't, you know, in an issue in the World Cup final, in the last game where they go against New Zealand in New Zealand for Rugby Championship, and you've got an injury and you need to throw someone in, that it's not the first time they've been doing that. What a player. He's been playing
Yeah.
well at prop, but it'll be interesting to see him move over again. He hasn't played much there for the Bulls this season, I don't think.
No, I don't even know if he's played at all at hooker, maybe once. But I mean, he played lock in high school.
He's six
He's
foot four. Like, what's going on here?
that is a big prop. That's a
He's six
tall
foot
front
four,
rower.
dude. Yeah,
Freaking
it's
hell.
crazy, but look, it's going to be fun to watch. He's a hell of a player. He's a hell of an athlete. So fair play.
You see, he's bound to Ox up here. No, wait,
Yeah,
down here. Ox is binding up to him like, how's it, Jan? He's
yeah.
Jan.
Well, Ox is in to settle the pack if
Yeah.
things start going, I guess, wrong, which they probably won't with the starters. And then we've got a debutant
Fascinating.
for. Can you just say the name? Because I still haven't
Fascinating
got.
Clavacania.
There we
What a
go. We
legend.
got it. And actually, that's a nice little combination of props that they played against the Barbars together.
Yeah,
Um, Cobus Visser on his debut,
beautiful.
gonna come on the field to replace probably Ruan Nakia if someone's staying on to captain. But absolutely fantastic player, massive in size, enjoying his brother Jasper
Oh,
Visser as a Springbok, which is
beautiful.
great. And to cap it off, you've mentioned it already, Evan Roos to add that kind of dynamism at number eight. Love to see it, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
while he might not be the first choice or anywhere near the first choice eight for the box at the moment, I think pure athleticism is something that we need to harness on a Bok
yeah,
level. So excited about that.
yeah.
George, predictions?
Listen,
We
I know we
said
went
by like
big.
60 last week, eh?
I
Watch
know
the
we
zone.
well no, I said something like 75-21, and they got more than the 21, so I wasn't wrong with the Italian side. I'm still gonna go fairly big because I think not like silly, but I think we're gonna maybe get about 50.
Okay.
Let's say 52, Italy 18.
You know what? That's around the same level. I'm not even going to change that because I was around the same ballpark that I was thinking of. I'd hope Italy won't get that much, but I think if we can get to 50 points, I think we'll be pretty happy with that. It's a young team, it's an inexperienced team, and it's a lot of changes. So you do never know. As you reminded me earlier in this week, remember that game against the Pumas that we shouldn't have lost, albeit that we are at home this time, so it should be a little bit more. And the Italians have been probably safaring, probably here, a couple of castle lights, a couple of braais. There's not been mama's pasta. We don't know what their kind of state of mind is going to be like. So maybe the second week's going to be harder. It's really easy to get up for the first game and tour.
Yeah,
When you do your best and you still got beaten and South Africa didn't play well, the mental change might be a little tough as well. But we'll leave it there. We're going to be at the Boma London in Metropolitan Mercato, which is an Italian venue, which is not great. But look, we're going to be there for the Boma Box watch party. Sorry,
bomb
I'm
squad.
tripping over my words here. If anyone still wants tickets for that, DM us on Instagram and we can organize that for you or go to the website. But guys, we'll see you probably maybe just after the game. George, you're gonna be around mine on the weekend. Maybe we'll do a little quick vid and upload then with a bit of a review on the Sunday morning. But
There you go.
other than that, we will catch you at the game. Let's go!
Let's go.